Friday. So today, this Friday, we're kicking off Memorial Day weekend. And I don't know about you, but I have lots of great memories from Memorial Day weekend. Most of them center around spending time with friends and family, having some good food, maybe barbecuing or grilling up something, maybe a bonfire. I remember as a kid, we would go camping or we'd go fishing. For some of us, it's a ball game that we're watching or we're traveling. There's a lot of great things that we know about Memorial Day weekend. It's kind of this unofficial kickoff to summer. School's wrapping up. Summer is coming. But you know that the tradition of Memorial Day is so much deeper and the origin is so much richer. I had to remind myself, do a little bit of research of where it all began. And Memorial Day actually began soon after the Civil War. In fact, back then they used the name Decoration Day. I love that, Decoration Day. And why they call it Decoration Day? It's because they would select and set aside a day where they would go and they would honor the fallen soldiers at their graves. They would put flags and they would put flowers there to remember them, for many family members to grieve the loss of their loved one. Decoration Day. It wasn't until the 1860s that it actually got some national attention. I think it was General Garfield at the time, who was at Arlington Memorial Cemetery. He spoke in front of thousands of people, and it get national attention. And fast forward, I didn't realize this. It wasn't until 1971 until it actually became a national holiday. So why do I share all this? I think it's important that we understand where not just the holiday came from, but the tradition came from, and more importantly, the real meaning behind Memorial Day. And so just for a few moments today, I want to talk about the power of remembering. The Bible is full of stories, illustrations, where it talks about the power of remembering. I just want to share a few of those with you. In Deuteronomy, it says, remember how the Lord your God led you all the way into the wilderness. Okay, in Psalms 17, it says, I remember the deeds of the Lord. Yes, I remember your miracles of long ago. In Joshua 4, this is the Israelites after they crossed the Jordan River. God instructs them to take, I think it was 12 stones and set them up as like a memorial. And why did God ask them to do that? It was so future generations, for those who came after them, those who wandered through the wilderness, would be able to see those 12 stones and remember God's faithfulness in the life of his people. So just like in Scripture, there's many more examples of this. It's important for us to memorialize. It's important for us to remember. Like when we think about Memorial Day, we want to think about it as a way to honor, to respect. In fact, in Romans 13, it says, give to everyone what you owe them. And as a part of that passage, as it goes on, it says, if it's respect, then give them respect. If it's honor, then give them honor. And one of the things we also remember about Memorial Day is it's also a time to grieve. It's a time to grieve the loss of those loved ones in our lives. I love in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, where it talks about there's a time for everything. And it says there is a time to mourn. And it also says there's a time to dance. There's a time to celebrate. Memorial Day holds both, right? We get to mourn and remember those who have gone before us, those who have sacrificed their lives for us. And yet it's a gathering to celebrating the freedom that we have, right? For those who have paid the price and provided freedoms that we celebrate today. So honor, it might look like telling stories, visiting cemeteries, teaching our children, pausing, reflecting in silence. There's so much we can do this weekend to pause, remember, and celebrate. For some of us, we have a family member that we've lost. This is a great time for us. Great time for us to reflect with our family, with our loved ones. Opportunities for us to kind of check in with ourselves. It can be a tender and a hard day, I think, for many of us. But know that your grief is seen. Like the sacrifice of your family is honored, and your story, whatever that story is related to this, that it matters. John 15:13 Some of you might know this passage. It says, "Greater love has no one than this, is to lay down one's life for one's friends." And that's the sacrifice, right? Defending our freedoms from one American to another. And so we want to honor those families today. So we want to remember with gratitude. We want to be thankful. We want to lean into this in a way that honors people by saying thank you. So I think it's important that we just do that this weekend, but we do this with our lives. We want to be people who live with remembrance. So Memorial Day is not only a time to look back, it's also a time to look forward. We want to celebrate life, and we want to celebrate legacy. In fact, Micah 6:8, I love this passage. I memorized it when I was a kid. It says, it reminds us to act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with our God. So here's a day like Memorial Day. Like, we want to remember those who have gone before us, those who have honored and sacrificed, given their lives. But in the midst of this, we want to use this as an encouragement and an affirmation to be able to say, hey, we want to be those people, right? And for parents, we want to be raising our kids to be those people. For mentors, if we're leaders, right? If we want to be pouring into the lives of other people, right? That this legacy continues for generations to come. So we don't want to take our faith and our freedoms for granted, right? We want to be people who carry this memory and we live it out in action, that we're going to carry it forward together. Okay, so this weekend, as you gather, you may be celebrating all the things that I said. You might be spending time with friends and family and grilling up something, having some good food, having some good time together, cheering on your favorite team, playing your favorite sport, doing a favorite hobby, whatever it might be. In the midst of that, I would encourage you, as we talked about these two things. One, I want to encourage you to celebrate, right? Celebrate the freedoms we have. Celebrate the relationships that you're connected to, the opportunities that you've been given, right? But in the midst of that, we also want to honor, we want to respect, and we want to remember those who have laid the foundation, who have paved the way for us to be able to have the moments of celebrate this weekend. All right, it's great to be with you. Hope you have an amazing weekend. God bless you.